Good morning, students. Today we will study chapter number 2 of Flamingo book. Its title is Lost Spring Stories of Stolen Childhood. Its author is Anis Jung, who was born in Rourkela and spent her childhood and adolescence in Hyderabad. She received her education in Hyderabad and in the United States of America. Her parents were both writers. Anis Jung began her career as a writer in India. She has been an editor and columnist for several newspapers in India and abroad and has authored several books. The following is an excerpt from her book titled Lost Spring Stories of Stolen Childhood. Here in this story, the author analyzes the grinding poverty and traditions which condemn these children to a life of exploitation. The author met Sahib, who was a rag picker. His family left their native place, which was in Dhaka. He has a distant memory of that. His mother told him that storms swept away their fields and homes, and they came to the big cities of India in search of gold, that is, livelihood to them. That they became rag pickers only. After months of knowing Sahib, the author asked his name. She was surprised to know that his name was Sahib-e-Alam, but the boy was unaware of the meaning of his name. Sahib-e-Alam means Lord of the Universe. He would have a hard time believing it. Unaware of what his name represents, he roams the streets with his friends, an army of barefoot boys who appear like the morning birds and disappear at noon. Traveling across the country, the author has seen children walking barefoot in cities, on village roads as well. It is not lack of money, but a tradition to stay barefoot is one explanation. The author wonders if this is only an excuse to explain away a perpetual state of poverty. Her acquaintance with the barefoot rag pickers led her to Simapuri, a place on the periphery of Delhi, yet miles away from it. Those who live there, they are squatters. They have come from Bangladesh. Sahib's family is one among them. Simapuri, which was in wilderness, still it is. It is there that structures of mud with roofs of tin and tarpaulin, devoid of sewage, drainage or running water. There live 10,000 rag pickers. They have lived there for more than 30 years without an identity, without permits, but with ration cards that get their names on voters' list and enable them to buy grain. Food is more important for them than identity. Wherever they find food, they pitch their tents that become transit homes. Children grow up in them, become partners in survival, and survival in Simapuri means rag picking. The author, she noticed that from morning to noon, Sahib, now he is working at a tea stall where he is paid rupees 800. He sadly realizes that he is no longer his own master, and this loss of identity weighs heavily on his tender shoulders. The author has also given us a reference of another victim, Mukesh, who wants to be a motor mechanic. Mukesh hails from Firozabad, which is the center of India's Bengal making and glass blowing industry. He, like other members of every other family, has worked in the glass making industry. None of them know that it is illegal for children like him to work in the glass furnaces with high temperatures in dingy cells without air and light, that the law, if enforced, could get him and all those 20,000 children out of the hot furnaces where they slog their daylight hours, often losing the brightness of their eyes. They are exposed to various health hazards like losing their eyesight as they work in abysmal conditions in dark and dingy cells. Mukesh's father is blind, as were his father and grandfather before him. As Mukesh's grandmother says, it is their karam, their destiny. The young men of Firozabad, they also echo the lament of their elders. Little has moved with time, it seems there. In Firozabad, Years of mind-numbing toil have killed all initiative and the ability to dream. They lead a hand-to-mouth existence as they are caught in the vicious web of the money-lenders, middlemen, police, and the traditions. So burdened are the Bengal makers of Firozabad that they have lost their ability to dream. Daring is not a part of their growing up. That's why the author, she is quite delighted to sense a flash of this daring in Mukesh when Mukesh says, I want to be a motor mechanic, and he is ready to go to a garage to learn this. He is content to dream of cars, and because the thing is that he sees cars hurtling down the streets of his town. Few airplanes fly over Firozabad, and he knows that these airplanes are beyond his reach.